as is our custom, we like to start the show with the nice cathartic scream.
I mean, I have yet to stop feeling the need to. So
yeah. The last 2 years, just
who knows
waiting.
if I will ever stop.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 477 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right, you're listening to a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering. Whether you are playing Magic the Gathering while worrying about a wider war between Russia and NATO, or you play Magic the Gathering while you think about the continuing legacy of
Climate change.
Oh, I was going to say of an international pandemic.
Oh, that too.
We're here for you.
There's a smorgasbord of bad things you could play Magic during, you know?
Exactly. And you know what? That's what makes Magic great.
Choose your own adventure.
Yes.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Meghan.
And on today's show, we'll try and inject a little light into your life while the world falls apart by talking about alchemy.
Yes, and historic, because those were the two formats played at the Neon Dynasty Championships this past week.
Yeah.
We also have to address the question, did this make people like alchemy any better?
Yeah, I mean...
I think that's the biggest question besides what decks did people play?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to go over. Like, a lot of things happened.
A lot of things happened.
And last episode, we had a big discussion where we were like, does alchemy matter? Like, what's the deal? What's the deal with alchemy?
Yeah,
well,
so we'll continue to explore that question.
And of course, all of our delightful tangents about World War.
Yeah. Do you know what? Okay.
Before we get started, everybody, thank you for continuing to support us during these trying times on patreon.com/GLHF Magic.
Yes, thank you so much to everyone who is a patron of the show. It really does mean just so very, very much to us.
Yeah, you can become a patron in, I think, under a minute at patreon.com/GLHF Magic.
Under 1 minute.
Under a minute.
And we have no patrons. We have no new patrons this week. And as good as that was, I don't want Maria to have more opportunities to perfect her sad trumpet sound.
Yeah, please come be our friend.
It really does. It really does mean so very much to us, and we say it so often that it kind of loses meaning of like, you keep this show happening, but we cannot stress it enough. We could not do this without patrons of this show. Yeah. So please consider becoming one if you haven't already.
Yeah, you get access to our sweet Discord, and knowing that you support content creators that you love, it just makes you feel great. So we'd love to have you join the party and get access to our cool patron-only stuff that we do every month.
That's right. Thank you as well to our sponsor, Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com/GLHF, the place to shop if you want to make sure that you get your products
I know what you're going to say. I feel like I know what you're going to say.
Before World War III begins.
Hey, I got this car before World War III. Check it out.
Do you know what? You don't want to be stuck worrying about the future of international diplomacy without cards to play.
I'm just saying, if you don't have the cards in your bunker, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
You need your commander deck
in your bunker. So go ahead and order it from Card Kingdom.
Hey, and if you say GLHF, they'll give you a token or a sticker in your order, so you can put that on your concrete wall.
Yes, Card Kingdom. Cards for the end of the world.
Yet another great slogan.
Another great slogan for Card Kingdom. Okay, we're laughing because you've gotta, right?
That's just how we deal with things as comedians.
The world is like a scary, difficult place.
Yes.
And hopefully we can help you feel slightly separate from it for a little while.
Yeah.
We improvise. Mm-hmm. And I did like my first show in a while this past weekend. And I just remember I got off stage and I was just like, for 75 minutes, I did not think about anything aside from what was happening right in front of me.
Yeah, exactly.
And what a gift.
What a gift.
What a gift that was. So
yeah, I hear you.
Anyways, find some time.
Yeah.
buddy. Find some time.
So we're going to talk about now the Neon Dynasty Championship that happened this past weekend. If you tuned in and caught it, hey, thanks for watching.
Yeah.
We had a great time.
It was a really fun time.
It was a very good tournament.
Yes, exactly. We did not watch a bunch of mirrors.
Nope.
We did not watch the same deck just like over and over again. We saw tons of variety.
Yeah, and really interesting games too, because mid-range was a very popular deck especially in the Alchemy format.
Yeah.
And when you have two mid-range decks playing, there's a lot of really interesting decisions.
So much stuff. I love mid-range decks have like the highest like number of games where you're like, this is over, and then it's not.
And then it's not over.
And then it's not, and the other person comes back and you're like, how I could not have foreseen that.
Yeah. Totally. It felt like watching really good games of Limited in those instances when creature combat matters, when, you can make one little mistake and it costs you the game, which isn't always the case with other kinds of decks. So let's talk big picture first. The person who took the whole thing down was Ely Cassis.
Yes, congratulations to Ely. He was playing Orzhov Ventures, which was the deck that Team Channel Fireball, which was a pretty big team, landed on.
Yeah, so that was his Alchemy deck. It's a very, very cool deck. If you haven't got the chance to check it out, it's really fun because you're venturing into the dungeon over and over, building that advantage by venturing, which ends up being more of an advantage than you might expect.
Yeah. Maria, last week, when we were talking about what we thought might show up in Alchemy, we dismissed this deck.
Yes.
They had rebalanced some cards in Alchemy to try and make it better, and you and I were both like,
and we're like,
didn't work. It worked. It worked.
It worked. Yeah. They said the biggest upgrade in the deck was the 2-mana, what's it called?
Oh, yeah. Fall into the dungeon.
Fall into the dungeon.
Dungeon pit. You fall down.
You fall down.
You fall. Precipitous drop.
Precipitous drop. Thank you. I always want to call this card.
The card you fall down.
I always want to call it Dungeon Descent, but that's not that card. That's a land.
That's a different card.
Precipitous drop. Yeah, costing 2 mana instead of 3 mana was a huge upgrade for this.
Great card.
Oh, so
At 2
good.
mana, really solid.
Yeah, we saw people going into dungeons left and right, drawing cards, casting cards for free, getting treasure tokens to end up casting their Tybalts.
Yeah.
Like,
one of my favorite moments, one of many people's favorite moments, I'm sure, is in the finals when Ely Cassis, who we saw a lot of like Lost Mine of Phandelver dungeons.
The classic dungeon.
Middle dungeon is just real chill.
Yeah.
We saw a couple of Tomb of Annihilation for the win, which was like very spicy. But it's like this long, grindy Mardu mid-range matchup.
Yep.
And he went into the dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Yes.
Everyone he was like hovering over it, and everybody was like,
do it.
Is he gonna go? You have to go into the dungeon.
Yeah, this is
Mad Mage.
Mad Mage. This is a dungeon that's the longest dungeon to go through, but it has the biggest payoff at the end, where you get to look at 3 cards and cast one for free.
And you draw the other 2. They don't
you
just
draw
like
the
go
other
away.
2.
You draw the other 2.
So it's a huge, huge payoff, but it takes longer to get through that dungeon. And at the moment that Ely made that decision, he had a venture creature in play, and then he had like at least 1 or 2 more in his hand. So he was just turboing through that dungeon as soon as he got them into play. And he didn't have to worry too much about the Mardu mid-range player being able to like completely decimate his board at any time. So it was a really cool decision, and one that we speculated his teammates might have talked to him about and said, hey, in this matchup specifically, hey, go into the Mad Mage. Go into the Mad Mage.
Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Yeah.
Oh, really, really sick. So many levels.
Oh, I love Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Yeah. It was great. It was so delightful.
Yeah.
He played Is It Phoenix in Historic, which was the most popular choice, which kind of surprised people because it has a very bad Golgari food matchup.
Right.
And they thought, like, well, Golgari Food is like one of the best decks.
Won the last championship?
Will a bunch of people be on it? But no.
Weird.
And they were like, because Golgari Food takes so much time to master.
Ah, yes, indeed.
It just takes so much time. And so a lot of players were like, I don't have the amount of time to put into Golgari Food to like pilot it as well as I would need to.
I'm not ready to give myself carpal tunnel from clicking on all the clicks.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm just not about
triggers,
that.
All the triggers on the stack. Click.
Yeah. Yeah. So if more people had brought Golgari Food, it would have turned out well for them because Is It Phoenix was the most played deck.
Yeah.
easily in the historic portion of the tournament, but they didn't. So
No.
yeah, Is It Phoenix most popular deck and had a pretty fine showing as far as win rate is concerned. So it looks like it's kind of remains as the top 1 or 2 deck of historic.
Yeah. So what else was in the top 8?
Yeah, hit me.
All right. Jim Davis brought a Grixis mid-range deck in Alchemy.
Yeah, this one was really cool because he was running Kaido Shizuki in it.
Yeah.
Which is like, we haven't seen much from our new planeswalking friend.
No, but here he was.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah. So Jim Davis went 12-0.
Yeah, we should say that.
Yes. But then promptly lost and then lost again in the lower bracket.
Yeah, so the top 8 was Alchemy only, by the way. No historic in the top 8. Jim Davis, nobody has ever gone 12-2 at one of these arena set championships. In fact, nobody's ever gone 11-0. So he was the first person to do both.
Didn't Andre Strosky go like 12-0?
I think he might have gone 10-0 and then lost, but it was fine. But yeah, confirmed that he was the first person to do either of those 2 things.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is also the curse of it because Andre Strosky was like a while back was the first person to like get the bye into the top 8, and then also promptly like lost. Yeesh.
The curse of the undefeated player.
Yeah. Davis was playing Azorius Auras in Historic, Maria.
Yes. So this one, you all know. You know me, your Boggles connoisseur. Loves Azorius Auras. I actually thought Orzhov Auras was going to be more popular this tournament because of Kaya's Ghost Form and Sacrifice decks.
Yeah.
But it turned out Azorius Auras actually performed better than Orzhov Auras. And Jim Davis's performed really well, obviously, running cards like Storm Chaser Drake.
Nice.
Which is a little flyer that when you put auras on him, he draw you card.
Yeah.
So reminds me a little bit of SRAM, but chose that card instead of Light Paws, the new card from Neon Dynasty.
Which we did see Light Paws go off in a match.
Light Paws.
Which was great.
The lightest paws.
Yeah.
But he said he liked Drake better, so that was interesting to me.
Next up was Jean-Emmanuel Depras, was of course in the top 8 because when he not?
Yep.
Anyways, his team brought this very cool Jeskai Hinata deck, and of course, like a fan favorite Chris Botello,
yes,
also on this deck, and he was like, Chris Botello was like, I spent so much time working on the sideboard for the mirror because I thought everyone would realize this was clearly the best deck in Alchemy.
It's a really cool deck.
It's a really cool deck. Mostly you're using Hinata Dawn Crowned, which is the 1 blue, red, white 4/4 flying trample.
Nice.
From Neon Dynasty that says spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each target, which means that you can go ahead and target as many things as possible with Magma Opus. So there's like 4, you can do it 4 targets for the 4 damage, and then 2 lands, or like target 2 other things to tap. And then also, I think you target to draw cards. No, you just draw 2 cards, but that's still 6. You can cast this for 2.
2 mana.
With Hinata out.
That's pretty sweet, casting an 8-drop for $2.
2 mana.
Seems good.
Yeah, pretty great.
It's not a card. It's not like you win the game, but that's pretty backbreaking.
Really, really, really cool.
Really cool deck.
And obviously did very well with it.
Yes, 100%. I'm so happy to see him in the top 8.
Yeah. He brought one of my favorite historic decks.
Oh yeah, this one's great.
Which is Azorius Affinity.
Hello.
You read that right, heard that right, read my words out loud to you, right?
You read my mouth words.
Yes.
Correctly.
Right. Azorius Affinity.
I thought this was a modern deck.
Not here.
Here.
It has cards like Esper Sentinel, which is single white for an artifact creature. It has Ornithopters.
Ornithoptops.
I know. Nettle Cyst, Soul Guide Lantern, Moonsnare Prototype. Just like, right? Tons of artifacts.
Tons of little bitty artifacts that you can play out really, really quickly. And if you've got a lot of them, well, Nettle Cyst is enormous.
Yeah. And then you also have cards like Ingenious Smith. Mm-hmm. This is 1 and a white for a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand.
Sick.
Whenever 1 or more artifacts enter the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Ingenious Smith.
This is another D&D card, right?
Yeah. This card
having its day this weekend.
It got huge, right?
Yeah.
This Karn, Scion of Urza, which makes you some little constructs, and then my favorite Metallic Rebuke.
Gross.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Like this deck was just so surprising and so cool.
Yeah, and JED bringing both of these kind of surprising cool decks is just like, that's JED's way. He didn't even test with anybody. He just came up with this himself and did extremely well with both of them, obviously, to end up in the top 8. Azorius Affinity, what a cool deck if you want something really unique to play in Historic.
Next up was Zach Dunn, who was one of the players on this Mardu mid-range deck.
Yeah, so Mardu mid-range is, of course, playing the classic mid-range game, grinding you out slowly, using planeswalkers to accrue advantage, and then just like stomping your face once they've turned the corner.
Yeah. Maria, this brings us to a card that we haven't talked about yet, but was the card of the weekend, I would argue.
For sure.
The Wandering Emperor.
Yeah, I love this card.
This card is excellent.
It showed up in so many decks, but not only so many different kinds of decks.
The mono white aggro decks play this.
Yep.
These mid-range decks play this.
Yep.
Control decks play this. It is versatile.
Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
Is this the best Planeswalker design we've ever seen?
Wow.
Let's remind people what Wandering Emperor does first.
Okay. 2 white. For a 3 loyalty walker, flash, as long as the Wandering Emperor entered the battlefield this turn, you may activate her loyalty abilities as anytime that you could cast an instant.
Sick.
So you can flash it in and use it immediately.
Yeah, it's really good.
+1, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. It gains first strike until end of turn.
Oh, hello. I'm an aggressive deck. This is what I want.
Great. -1, create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with vigilance.
Oh, I'm any deck. I want that.
I want that. -2, exile target tapped creature. You gain 2 life.
Oh, also any deck.
Amazing.
This card, I'm
so good.
What?
So good.
What is
so
there not
good,
to like?
So good.
Nothing.
Great card.
I mean, I think this is and also,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel oppressive.
No. It's powerful, but not OP.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, you could talk about other cards. You're like, well, this is a better Planeswalker. Okay, sure. But it might be one that people are like, I can't beat it once it hits the table.
Too good.
Too good. This, I feel like, has somehow landed in the perfect spot.
It's really excellent.
It is the perfect piece of strawberry rhubarb pie. Today on Pie Day.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, in tons of decks, in this Mardu mid-range deck, a card that we saw a ton in these mid-range matches, Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
Oh yeah, that's another good one to bring up for sure.
Yeah, 2 and a red. This is a saga. Create a 2/2 Goblin Shaman creature token with whenever this creature attacks, create a treasure token.
Yep.
2, you may discard up to 2 cards if you do draw that many cards.
Okay.
Great. And then its backside is
Kiki Jiki.
yeah, it's essentially just Kiki Jiki. It doesn't have haste. Thank goodness. It's 1 saving grace.
God.
It's a 2/2 where you can pay 1 and tap it to create a copy of another creature. The copy has haste. It exiles at the end of at the beginning of the next end step.
Yep.
Just like this card was very good, and we saw a ton of it.
Super good. I don't think we've seen the end of this card by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
And it's certainly one to always keep in the back of your brain skulls, because in Historic, you know they're going to print something eventually where this card's going to be a combo with it.
Yes.
And they're going to have to ban it. Oh, excuse
Yeah.
me. Rebalance it. They don't have to ban it. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. I think that they'll rebalance it by making it cost 1 more mana.
Something like that.
There's my future prediction.
So that's Zach Dunn. He came in second in the tournament.
Yeah.
Running Rakdos Arcanist in Historic. We've talked about this deck before.
Yeah.
Very, very fun deck. Love it.
Fun deck. Next up was Johnny Gutman, Canadian.
And wearing the most Canadian ensemble possible, by the way. Did you notice this?
No, it was a full mounting outfit.
He
was riding a horse while playing Magic Online.
Riding a moose.
Yes.
He was wearing a hockey jersey for his interview, I want to say. And then when he was playing his first matches, he was wearing a red and black flannel shirt.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, is he doing this on purpose?
Great. Or those are just the clothes that he owns.
Canadians just wear that.
So he was on this mono white aggro list.
Yes, the most popular one in Alchemy.
Yeah, most popular because there was a huge testing team.
Oh yeah.
That was like kind of headed up by Andrea Mengucci and Eli Loveman.
What was it called? The Mengucci School for Gifted Magicians?
Yeah, I think that they were just like, Eli and Andrea's School for Gifted Magicians.
Great.
Huge team. and they ended up on this mono white list.
So they're one of the reasons the mono white list is so much better than the Naya Runes deck, which of course you might know the Naya Runes deck to be extremely explosive. Once you get a creature out, you just keep putting runes on it like a boggle, and then you attack for 1 billion damage. Is its running main deck 4 copies of Archon of Emeria.
Just exceptionally rude.
This is a 2/3 flyer that only lets you cast 1 spell a turn.
Yep. And do you know what? Runes, it turns out if they can't cast multiple spells a
Their
turn,
deck sucks.
is bad. Is bad. Which ended up with, it had a 33% win rate in this tournament.
Oh
Runes
boy,
did.
that's so bad.
Yeepers.
It's real bad.
And do you know what? You and I thought that the top 8 would be all runes.
I know, thank God.
Wow, we were wrong.
We were so wrong. Hey, I mean,
But you know what? Happy to be wrong.
we were not the only people to be wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody who brought runes was wrong.
Okay, yeah. We weren't as wrong as the people who brought runes.
But also, we were right because I remember us saying, how is this the best deck? It seems like you should be able to metagame against this deck.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
It turns out that you can.
Turns out you can.
It was so bad in this format that despite being the second most popular deck, not a single person on runes made the top 8.
Nope. 0.
Because that's how bad the deck was.
It was so bad. Everybody metagamed against it, whether they were playing mono white aggro, whether they're playing Orzhov Venture, whether they're playing Azorius Control. Didn't matter. All of these decks were there to kill runes and
They
kill
were there
runes
to
they
get you good.
Yeah.
Johnny Gutman was on the Golgari food
Oh, okay,
list.
sure. So he called it right there.
Yep. Great deck. Next up, Udai Miano.
Oh my gosh, Esper Clerics in Alchemy.
Yes.
Yes, Udai. I love this choice.
Yeah. Not necessarily a great choice against the mid-range matchups.
No. A little tough.
Which is why he didn't quite make it to the finals. Although he did earn that world seat. So
Remember when we were talking about this deck last week and we're like, is this deck better than runes? But I mean, I don't think really.
no.
But somehow he made it through all of the runes. Maybe he dodged them. I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe he got through on the strength of this Rakdos sacrifice that he was playing in Historic.
Great.
But yeah, Esper Clerics.
Still
hanging out.
still alive, everybody.
Still there.
Still kicking. Still clericing around.
Yeah. And this was his first premier tournament.
Yeah, he has never played a tabletop sanctioned tournament
Wow.
in his magical life.
Wild.
Yeah. And then he just shows up in top 8s. He's probably like, everyone thinks Magic is hard. Weird. Brent Voss was also on the Orzhov Venture deck.
Yeah. Great deck.
And also on Is It Phoenix and Historic.
Yeah.
So
Also just fine.
just classically fine. Ji Min was running Mardu midrange in Historic. So
was one of
same
these players on the
as
Mardu
Zach Dunn.
Yeah. And I want to say they were on a team.
Yes,
right?
with
Of
Zach
essentially Zoomers.
Zoomers.
A Zoomer team. Good. You know what? And they got 2 people into the top 8
Yeah,
with
they
this,
did.
with this Mardu list. And they both did well.
Yeah.
So
This Mardu list I think is very good as well. So
Yeah.
I mean, it proved to be 2 with the win rates. Second best win rate.
yeah. So Maria, those are the decks that made the top 8.
Yes.
But there were, of course, some other spicier decks running around.
Yes. The thing that was so glorious about this tournament was that we were debuting this new Alchemy format, right?
Yeah.
And because we don't have, quote, what is the best deck settled coming into this tournament, that meant that it was kind of like the Wild West.
Oh, I loved it. It was so much more fun.
It was so much
It's
more
more fun when it's like
But I don't know what the
format
best
is
is.
fresher. And,
Yeah. It was just like such a great tournament. If you missed any of it, I highly suggest you go back and watch it because the games were really fun and interesting. And there were so many different decks across the weekend. One of the most different decks was in the hands of Hall of Famer Shota Yasuoka.
Oh, and Shota almost made the top 8.
Oh, I know. I was so
close.
sad he didn't.
I know. Because then we could have watched this deck all day.
Is it Mill?
Is it Mill? Which is... Thank you.
You have to
is
cackle
all.
like that when you mill somebody.
Oh,
That's
I
just
love
what you
it.
have to do.
Which is, to be fair, mostly like an Is It control deck.
Yes, it is.
That uses Mill as its win con.
Beautiful.
It's amazing.
Like he's like, will I win with damage? No, that's so gauche.
Yeah.
I'm going to mill
No.
you out.
No.
I'm not even going to touch you with damage. That's how controlling my deck is.
So
Pure.
he has the key card of the deck in Invoke Calamity. This is, of course, one of the newest cards from Neon Dynasty.
Yep.
1 red, instant.
Wow.
You may cast up to 2 instant and or sorcery spells with total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard and or hand without paying their mana costs.
Nice.
If those spells would be put into your graveyard, exile them instead. Exile Invoke Calamity.
Very good deck card for
Amazing.
this deck.
Great. I love it.
Because you're playing the classic spells like Expressive Iteration, like you'd play in any blue-red deck.
Yep.
But Galvanic iteration copies whatever you're doing. So, you've got Tasha's Hideous Laughter, which mills you.
So you're milling people with Tasha's Hideous Laughter, but then of course you've also got tons of removal. You've got Farewell. Even though you can't like cast it, you can invoke Calamity it.
Sick.
Great.
I love that.
Burn Down the House, Expressive, or no, you already said that. Thundering Rebuke. I was about to say Expressive Rebuke. Anyway, Thundering Rebuke.
That'll be a card someday.
Yeah, exactly. Unexpected Windfall to find the cards that you need. A Braid, Cathartic Pile. Oh my God.
Cathartic Pile is a very funny Magic card name.
Would be very funny.
It's actually what I call most of the decks I play.
Yeah, this is just a cathartic pile. I'm gonna feel something, but it's not good.
I feel great when I play this trash garbage deck. Oh my God. Yeah. Have you ever copied Tasha's Hideous Laughter with Galvanic Iteration?
No, but it seems spicy.
So gross.
I love it.
Yes, I've played a version of this deck. I don't know if it was in Alchemy or if it was in Historic or something, but I just remember feeling filthy.
Yeah. I want to say that Shota was undefeated in Alchemy with this.
I think that he was.
I think that he was.
Wow.
Amazing. Thank you, Magic
Shota.
Gods, for this gift.
Thank you for Shota.
Yeah. There was also another really cool combo deck there, which some players were on, called Is It Calamity?
Okay.
Which, this deck also has Invoke Calamity.
Yeah.
But you are doing something very different with it.
What are you doing?
Okay, so you've got Invoke Calamity, and then you have Body of Research, which is green, 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 blue, blue, blue.
All right.
Sorcery, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of cards in your library.
So this is from Strixhaven.
Yes. And so what you do is you invoke Calamity, make an enormous Body of Research fractal token.
Yeah, it's like a 50-50 or something.
Yeah.
40-40.
40-40. And then you Kazul's Fury it at your opponent.
You fling it at their face.
You fling it at their face. That's all you're doing. You're just trying to survive through the game with lots of cards, right? Like Fading Hope, and a Braid to kind of like disrupt what your opponent is doing. Of course, Expressive Iteration, some Burn Down the House, again, to just like sweep stuff.
Sure.
The Celestis, and then you're trying to cast that Invoke Calamity for Body of Research. Playing it.
You can't even be mad if you die like that.
Amazing.
That's too cool.
Beautiful. What a thing. What a thing.
Of all the decks that were in Alchemy, which one would you be like, I want to play this one?
Ooh. I want to play in Alchemy, probably Shota's Is It deck.
Yeah, that seems up your alley.
It's perfect. What a thing of beauty. What about you?
Oh, the Orzhov Venture deck. I mean, you already have been done playing that deck. I love it. It's so much fun because there's so many little decisions too about which dungeons you go into, which rooms into the dungeon you venture into, when you venture, when you don't venture, whether you sacrifice a creature when by attacking when you shouldn't just because you want a venture trigger, etc.
Nice.
Yeah. Love it.
Pretty cool.
So oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. What deck would you want to play in Historic?
I guess the Zorius Auras deck would be the deck I would pick up personally.
Yeah, that's classic you.
Yeah. Which one are you doing?
I think the Affinity deck.
Oh yeah, the Affinity one is really fun. Deck. Maybe I'll change my answer. I want to try it out.
I want to try
sure.
that.
Yes, absolutely.
Seems pretty sick.
Because of what we talked about last week on the show with like, hey, what's the point of Alchemy?
Hey, what's the point? Okay, yeah. Let's talk about it. How do you think people feel about it? Do you think they feel any better?
I would say if they saw this tournament, they would feel better.
Yes, I would agree that anyone watching should feel better about it.
Yeah. Yes.
Because it was It was a cool format.
And we were doing
It
lots
was
of
cool.
stuff that we can't do in standard,
There were cool decks.
which is the point of Alchemy.
cool things happened.
And I think with the release of all these supplemental sets, the more and more we get, hopefully, the more and more different Alchemy
Yeah.
will become from standard until
Yes.
never the twain shall identify with each other. You know?
classic saying. And never the twain shall identify with each other.
Yeah, you haven't heard that one? Yeah. Well,
Yeah, one of my favorite sayings, honestly.
because that was one of our problems with it. Was we were like, oh, this is too similar to standard.
Yeah.
Which is not where you want to be with your digital
No.
only format that's supposed to have higher churn.
And it's not now.
No.
I can't, yeah,
Not
that's
after
very
this
true.
tournament.
It's not.
It's very different.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff happening.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, the question now becomes, will people hate it into the ground before it can become something?
I don't know. There was lots of hating it into the ground this weekend.
Oh, yes.
In chat, anyway.
People are mad.
People are mad about it.
Yes.
They don't know why it exists. They think it's too expensive, which they may be very well right about that.
I do sympathize with the fact that like some of the cards that they previewed for the upcoming Neon Dynasty Alchemy set,
Yeah.
they're like, why is this mythic? Like that feels,
It's hard to get.
that's exactly. It's like, it's so expensive to craft.
Yeah.
Like why make it so expensive to craft? This doesn't feel like a mythic.
Some people say by having an Alchemy draft environment, it would make things better, obviously.
Yeah, that would be fascinating.
But it's really interesting to me. I don't think they'll ever do it because it, oh gosh, I don't know how you would do it. Mixing,
you'd have to make an alchemy cube.
yeah, you'd have to make an Alchemy cube.
I would be in for that.
I mean,
would
yes.
that make you more into alchemy? Do you think that would make people more into alchemy? We usually ask you to answer dumb questions by tweeting at us. Serious question for you to answer though, by tweeting at us. What would make you play alchemy?
Yeah.
And would something like an alchemy cube make you more interested in the format?
For sure. I think they're probably just worried about splitting the draft player base like that, which is a valid concern, I think.
Yeah.
But
Because you do already have it split 3 ways, traditional, premier, and quick.
so the only way to get packs is to buy them or to craft the cards.
Yeah.
Or to win them if they have special events or whatever. So I don't know.
Maybe they should just have more events where you could win alchemy boosters.
Yeah, that's a good point because I think it's really fun and different. And last week I was a little sour on it. Sorry. But now I feel a lot better after watching this tournament.
It's true.
It's like I did a
I do
little
also
180.
feel better about it. And I will say, like, the honest truth is that, like, I am more interested in playing it than I am interested in playing Historic right now.
Yeah.
Like, and I've generally liked Historic, but it just feels, there's something about Alchemy that is fun because it is always pretty fresh.
Yes. And if they continue to push the mechanics that are Alchemy digital only mechanics, I think that is a good plan.
Yeah.
I want them to
they
be
certainly have with
forefront.
with these new cards
Absolutely.
that we've seen.
If you're going to experiment in a space, I want you to go for it, right?
Yes. Experiment in
Especially
that space.
since you have the safety net of rebalancing.
Yeah.
So you can really make Alchemy look hecka different.
Yeah.
You like that? From
Hecka different.
From standard if you approach it in that manner. So let's talk about some of the new cards that are coming out with Neon Dynasty Alchemy.
Yeah.
Coming out this Thursday, PS.
Yeah. So I think definitely some of the ones that really caught people's eye were Forceful Cultivator.
Oh, yeah.
This is 2 green for a 2/3 creature snake shaman. This spell costs 2 less to cast if there are no land cards in your hand.
I love it.
When Forceful Cultivator enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card, put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle.
Great.
I love it, right? It really helps you. It helps you not get like mana screwed.
Keep that 2-lander.
Keep that 2-lander with your
You'll be
Forceful
fine.
Cultivator.
Yeah.
That's like pretty cool stuff. And that is like a space where they're pushing that digital only mechanic.
I love to see them pushing that mechanic and finding a way to deal with mana flutter screw through new mechanics.
Yes.
Which this card does.
This is one where like it is a mythic and people are kind of like, why?
Yeah.
Why is it mythic?
It doesn't seem like a mythic, honestly.
No. I would put it at a rare.
Sure.
But
I would buy that.
yeah. I mean, like the discount is pretty good.
But like mythics are normally like giant game winning cards.
Yes.
That is not what this is.
And this is just efficient.
It's just
it's good.
yeah.
It's like it's snappy.
It goes in every green deck, blah, blah, blah.
I'm a snappy little snake.
I'm a snappy snake shaman.
So cards similar to it, also at Mythic, also debatable at that cost.
Yeah.
2 white, Moth Rider Cavalry for a 2/2 human samurai. Flying, Other creatures you control get +1/+1, and this spell costs 2 less to cast if you have no other creature cards in hand, or if the only other creature cards in your hand are named Moth Rider Cavalry.
Great.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a really good 2/2 flyer for 2 mana ? And it's a lord for your creatures, which would work good in a token creation deck where your creatures come by way of instants or sorceries.
Yeah,
like
would be
raise the
pretty
alarm.
cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Make a bunch of little tokens, and then this buddy.
Yeah, and then
We
flying.
already saw some wedding announcement.
Yeah,
in
for
Alchemy
sure.
this weekend.
This goes
That
right
guy's
with
having a
wedding
little
announcement.
moment.
Wedding moth. I would call it the moth's wedding. If this
the
plus
moth's
that.
wedding.
Oh, that'd be so cute. Can you
Yeah.
imagine going to a moth's wedding? Oh my God.
Do you think it would be very well lit?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, the party would be lit. Oh, it'd be so cute. I don't know why. I'm just imagining a moth wearing a little top hat and it is killing me. What is the cutest animal wedding you can imagine?
Ooh.
Because that mouth one I'm imagining is pretty
That's
darn
pretty
cute.
Wow. I mean, look, you're not like, I think that a raccoon wedding would be the most charming thing of all time. Also kind of scary, but like that's where you want it, right?
You're like, what's on the dinner menu? Oh God. Rotten banana.
Just anything. Anything.
If you're a raccoon and you listen to the show, please invite us to your wedding. We'd love to come.
We would really love to come.
We're not eating the dinner.
Another one that they previewed, Kami of Mourning, 2 and a black for a 3/2 creature spirit. Whenever it enters the battlefield, target creature you control or creature card in your graveyard perpetually gains. Whenever a creature you control with greater mana value than this card dies, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
So
a lot
this
of text.
is like a weird sacrifice deck card.
Yeah, but like pretty cool, right?
The art is
I like it.
great.
It's very spooky.
Yeah,
Very spooky
I love
stuff.
all of this Kami arts.
Yeah.
Because they always look just a little weird. Like they're not supposed to be in this universe because they're not really.
No, they're a separate universe.
We're combining universes. Have you seen the new ogre they printed? This card, Bellow Breath Ogre, 2 and a red for a 3/3 Ogre Shaman. This is a rare. Starting intensity. 1. Okay, what the heck does that mean? Whenever Bellow Breath Ogre attacks, it deals damage equal to its intensity to any target, then perpetually increases its intensity by 1.
Wow. Very cool.
That's so strange.
Yeah, weird.
I was like, oh, is that its power?
No, it's its intensity.
Which is kind of neat because it's like, oh, this pings you when it attacks. Cards have done that before.
Yeah.
Now this pings you 2 when it attacks. Now 3.
Yeah, pretty sick.
Gross. Yeah, I think that card looks cool.
Yeah. These previews are continuing today too.
Yeah.
What about Saiba Siphoner? 2 blue for a 2/2 flash. The spell, it's in the cycle of it costs 2 less to cast. If there are no instant or sorcery cards in your hand, when it enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. If it would die, shuffle it into your library instead.
Snapcaster Mage?
Wow.
Hello. Cool.
Yeah, nice.
Old
All right.
Snappy's coming around, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. It just goes back into your hand. You don't get to cast it.
You don't get to
but
cast
still, pretty nice.
Wow, that's a cool card too. So we're getting kind of a new infusion of a new quote unquote format coming on Thursday, which is really fun because like here we are, Neon Dynasty has been out not even that long, but it's kind of like on the downward swing as to innovation and all that kind of stuff. And at that moment, boom, they're like,
here comes more alchemy.
More cards.
Unless people hate it into the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
We'll see.
I do feel like this tournament did a lot to kind of help people mend their relationship with alchemy.
Yeah, I agree.
It did look like a really cool format. It just kind of remains to be seen, like what will happen there? What direction will this go?
Yeah, and I'm also curious how often the rebalances are kind of going to happen.
Yeah, also curious.
Because we've had, a couple rebalances now.
Yeah,
2, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, how often can I expect them to come?
Yeah.
What's going to happen when they do make the rebalances? I think some people are worried about that kind of thing too, because they're like, if I choose to invest in an alchemy deck, which is more expensive, quote unquote, than a standard deck, and then they rebalance things and my deck becomes worse, is that worth
I'm
it?
just out the cards.
Yeah,
Or
so
out the wild cards.
it's a little tough.
It is, absolutely.
I think, what if they were like, hey, you get a wild card if we rebalance?
Yeah, if we rebalance something, you get wild cards.
Yeah.
I'd be in for it.
If we rebalance it down, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you have like a mythic that gets rebalanced down, if you invest in your snake cultivators.
Yeah. That I think they should do. And I would, bet high amounts of money that they're thinking about that at Wizards and trying to figure out a way to do that.
Contemplating it.
Because, I think a lot of people, that would help them a lot feel better about alchemy.
Especially since the only way that you were getting those is mostly by wildcards or buying packs.
Yeah, exactly. I don't buy any alchemy packs.
No.
I've never bought a pack of Magic in my life on Arena.
Me neither.
Honestly.
Maybe
so
once or twice when it's been a daily deal.
Sure, a daily deal. Yeah, but I mean, like,
that's not the same.
Not the same. Hey, Megan, is the luck of the Irish with ya?
Oh, what is this?
This is a package
from Ultra Pro,
our sponsor. Wow. Check it out, everybody.
Their color of the month, which is this vibrant green. Ooh. I love it. And they always package it with confetti of the same color.
This is my favorite color, everybody.
Oh, Maria, this is all for you then.
Oh, I love it so much.
These gorgeous dice. They have Eclipse dice in this that you can put. There's your metal dice.
Metal dice here.
Here's your Pro Gloss sleeves. Here's your matte sleeves. Great. Both of them Eclipse, so you can't see through.
Here's my Pro Tour satin deck box. Tour Ultra Pro Satin Tower deck box.
And in the bottom, you can put your dice.
Yes.
And put all your gorgeous sleeves in it. Look at your mini binder, so you don't have to carry a big binder.
Wow. I love that everything's color coordinated.
Big fluffy dice to put your dice in.
Put dice inside another dice.
Put dice inside another dice. This is, we love Ultra Pro's color of the month situation.
Yeah, this is so cool. I love this mini binder. I've talked about it before. Like, don't take a giant size binder with you to the LGS. It's like too much to carry. This little guy, perfect size. Perfect size.
We really love having Ultra Pro as a sponsor.
Yeah.
They're so much fun. They let us make fun content for you. They help us make this show for you.
Yeah.
And they just make great products for you to use in all of your Magic everyday life.
Look at these Eclipse dice. I just want to say, they're beautiful. They're like neon green. They're kind of translucent.
Yeah.
And this is what I think of when I'm like, what present am I getting somebody? Like, this is a beautiful present to give the gamer in your life.
Perfect.
Hey, everybody. That's this episode of Good Luck High Five.
Wow. We did it.
I hope you had a fun time listening to us jabber on about alchemy.
Yes.
I think it's a cool format. If you haven't given it a chance, I highly suggest you try. It's a really fun thing to play on Arena if you're an Arena player.
Exactly. Like, give it a shot. It is... Like I said, I like the format. There's a lot of deck diversity. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of choice for what you can play. Those are like, to me, two really big benefits, which are why I've been playing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though I get all of the critique, and I agree that like there are times when I don't craft cards for a deck. I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah,
absolutely not. I just play but I also just play a slightly worse version.
It's fine.
And still have a really good time.
Yeah. If, by the way, you're into multiplayer Magic, we have a cool new video you should check out over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/goodluckhighfive, which is Oathbreaker.
Oh, it's so much fun. We have Judge Rob and longtime friend of the show, Sam Eilenfeld, who we haven't seen in forever.
Yeah, Pirate Boy Sam Eilenfeld.
And we just have like a really fun time playing with these pre-constructed Oathbreaker decks from Magic Kids.
Yeah, if you've never heard of Oathbreaker, it's basically like Commander, except the decks are 60 cards.
Yes.
And your commander is a planeswalker, plus you have a signature spell to go with your planeswalker.
It's a lot of fun. It was really cool. It accomplished its goal of like being swifter than a game of Commander. And it went at a very surprising conclusion.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, so go check it out and hear more about Magic Kids in that video.
Yeah, they're a fantastic organization. If you're looking to get rid of some of your Magic cards, if you're like, I have all this bulk and I want it to go to a good cause, They've got you covered. You can donate $100, and if you do, they'll send you 4 Oathbreaker precon decks.
Yes, and you can have a great time playing it.
I think that's a good deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, check out our video. It was just a really fun time. We don't do a lot of multiplayer on our channel, so I want to let you know because we had a blast.
Hop on over there.
Well, everybody, we'll be back next week, and we'll be talking about Streets of New Capenna.
Wow, because we've seen some preview art from it now over on the Magic website, and it looks gorgeous.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to talking about it.
I'm really looking forward to wearing my pinstripe suit.
Oh, you better now, or else. Do you want to dress Deco next week?
Oh my God, do I ever?
All right. We'll do it. We'll dress Deco. I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm doing, but
you have pinstripe stuff, don't you?
I don't know. Do
Maybe I just feel like you do.
Maybe. Yeah.
It just seems right.
I feel like a pinstripe person.